What, is this a new dev play video? Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm super excited about this build because this is the build that we took to EVO last weekend. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with EVO, it is the world's largest fighting game tournament. It's held in Las Vegas every year, and the event organizers asked us out, and along with 6 other indie games, to kind of show it off and share it with the fighting game community. And sure enough, it went over really, really well. Like, you know, beat 'em ups to the first cousins of fighting games, so people dug it. And this is a huge event. A lot of people got to play it, and it was super insightful. And I sort of knew all this going into it, so I ended up pushing in a bunch of new mechanics and an excited frenzy. So I wanted to show that shit off. So the first thing we got is block. And in the last video and last build, actually, you can't do this, but now you can totally block. As long as you're holding the B button, you're completely safe, you're totally invincible, and even if there's something on the other side of you, as long as you're holding B, it won't hit you either. The game knows to auto-face you. Now, you can't attack or move out of this, but you can counter. So the way you counter is by pushing dash, and then hitting an attack right after that connects. So this is what the dash looks like. That's the counter itself. And if it connects with the attack, and then you hit one of your attack buttons, you slam them. Boom. So that's one of them. If you do it with the other button, you can clear both sides of you, actually. Now, this one has a warm-up. Oop. But it clears the way for you to move on. So that's countering and parrying, which is awesome. So the second thing we got is... Oh, so you'll notice I actually killed the ragdolls. The ragdolls were just so problematic, and they were creating a lot of unpredictability, and so I actually found a way around them, so you can still get, you know, enemies that fall as far as you need them to fall, and collide with other enemies, and look good, and do all that cool stuff without actually having to be a ragdoll, so they're not anymore. That may change when we tune it up in the future, but for right now it's totally unnecessary. Give him another parry, because that always feels good. Oh, I missed it. Boom. God damn. So all of the setups that were there in the last video that you saw, they're still there, only now we have context-sensitive moves, which is kind of cool. So you remember the ground pound. If that hits them while they're on the ground, it knocks their body up into the air. But if you hit them while they're standing up, it actually does something different, the way it should be, you know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't automatically get that body bouncing motion, so we fixed that. The same with this move. So if you sweep them, they end up on their ass, but if you sweep them when they're down, oh god, there we go. You just end up knocking them around, which is cool. Like, it's more appropriate, and it ends up making more sense, and it lets you not spam these really powerful techniques unless you're in the right situation. Boom. So the other thing is that we pushed in this crude slow motion feature, which is actually pretty awesome. So you'll notice on this last hit, it slows down right before you hit them, and it gives you this really cool, like, God of War sense of impact, and it feels really neat. And like I said, it's crude, and, you know, we could probably work on it a little bit, but it feels really cool. So it's going to be in there in certain times when we really need to emphasize, like, what you're doing is super awesome. Oh, and the other thing about the block is that you can cancel any attack at any point with the block. So the idea is that, yeah, it's kind of cheesy and it's like a huge advantage for you, but I want people to be safe whenever they want to be safe. So, besides, if you're playing it at a high level, you're being super aggressive anyway, and it's fine. Although I did have some couple players at EVO discover some pretty awesome shit with the block canceling, like this. And turns out that doesn't actually upset me, because there's eventually going to be game systems that incentivize you to not do infinite loops. So it's like you can do them if you want, and you think that's fun, but, you know, playing at a high level means not doing infinite loops and, like, expressing yourself and doing cool combos and building gems. And gems, I'll talk about later once they're implemented and ready to rock. The other thing, too, is that we have the grab tree done. So if you push the right trigger, you lunge out, you grab them. You can push the trigger again to release the hold. But you can do everything you can do in, you know, in the air, on the ground, with the 2 attack buttons and by providing directional input. So you can pound them this way, and then blast them if you want. Boom. And there's actually some downward attacks, too, that you can just, you know, you can put them in their place really quick. Oh. Boom. Boom. So yeah, it's just, the idea is that this is going to be a very quick way to do something specific that there will be a game system in place for later. For right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but since you don't have crowd control abilities while you're in a grab, the idea is that it'll be faster and quicker, but it'll just be more dangerous than, you know, standard normal attacks where you have a lot of flexibility. And you'll notice that there's a lot of game systems actually working now. We've got a timer, we've got a health meter, we've got a combo counter, and these things, like adding a whole new dimension to the game. It's actually starting to feel more like a game now and less like a toy. And yeah, everything's turning out really well. It's shaping up. And then as these systems get more developed and they're making the game more like a game, I'll make another dev play. And this is perfect timing because the game timer's about to be done. And that's it. So yeah, this was kind of cool for the people at Evo because it tracks the enemies you killed, the maximum combo, the total hits, the unique attacks, and then as soon as they wanted to try something new, they would hit back. Oh, I don't have it set up to do that right now, but that's fine. You don't need to see it. But yeah, so that's the Evo build. I'm really happy to show it off, and as soon as we've got some stuff pushed through in the next couple weeks, I'll make a new dev play then. Thanks!